Hi, Larry Taylor here. Glad you could join me. I'm just sharing from my heart in this video and in the last few that I've posted. Um, I never planned on getting old. Of course, as a young person, you never think about it. You look at your parents and you think they're ancient. My gosh, they're in their 40s. And then in my case, I came to Christ in the Jesus movement, glorious outpouring of God's Spirit that occurred in the latter half of the 1960s and the first part of the 1970s, in which many disenchanted young people, hippies who had dropped out, hippies who were seeking truth and guidance through LSD, or were seeking truth and guidance and love through communal living, or seeking truth through transcendental meditation. Hippies who were politically active, who were seeking to build a better world by opposing the war in Vietnam, by standing up on behalf of civil rights and social justice. Some of them joining among the Freedom Riders, for example. A lot of us that were in that generation were swept into the kingdom of God, and we discovered the Prince of Peace. And in Jesus, we found what it was that we were looking for. We found the peace and the joy and the love that isn't in LSD. It's not in free love. It's not in political action. It's not in meditation, apart from meditation that's focused on Jesus. We came into a personal relationship with Jesus. And even though a lot of my theology has changed, and a lot of what I have believed had to be deconstructed in order that God could form a new structure around it, and that's a glorious process, that fundamental thing, Jesus, has never faded, never changed. You can never lose that. It's beautiful, it's glorious, it's magnificent. Your life will never be the same. If you don't really understand what I'm saying, I challenge you just to cry out, Jesus, if you're there, come and take possession of me with your perfect love. Anyway, so I came to Christ in the Jesus movement, and that was wonderful. But pretty early on, I was taught what I consider now to be a very toxic eschatology. Eschatology is that form or that branch of theology that deals with final things, how it's all going to play out in the end. And as a result, I was taught that as a believer, I was going to be snatched off the earth. We called that the rapture. It's going to be snatched off the earth any minute. Could happen today, maybe tomorrow. And so I really truly believed that, and I did not think there was any possibility of me growing old, because Jesus was going to come get us long before that happened. And my primary mentor during the 80s taught me that Jesus was going to come in 1980, and then he taught me, no, Jesus was going to come in 1988. And there was even a book that was put out and it was entitled 88 Reasons Why Jesus Has to Come or Must Come in 1988, something like that. I wish I had a copy of that. That is a classic. A classic bunch of baloney. And anyway, as a result, I never expected to ever age or get old, and I didn't plan for it at all. I didn't save money. I didn't, uh, you know, plan for my future the way normal people do. But anyway, lo and behold, the rapture did not occur in 1988. And I no longer believe that the Bible even teaches that there is such a thing as a rapture. I do know that we should live in the expectation of the imminent return of Christ. I know that Jesus could come back today. I know that no person knows the day or the hour. And I know that all of us, and this is, when you think about it, pretty obvious, all of us are one heartbeat away from eternity. I work as a hospital chaplain, and we had an 8-week-old baby the other day who died of cardiac arrest, 8 weeks old. Tomorrow's not really promised to any of us. And I don't mean that morbidly. I just mean that we need to live for today and make full use of today and squeeze out of today all the joy and the love and the peace that we possibly can. But my point is that I wasn't planning on getting to the age that I am. I'm 69 years old. In February, I will be 70. My mother, a few weeks ago, passed away. She was 97 years old. Will I live to be 97? My father lived to be, 71, I think? He was just a little older than I am now. That's weird. And, I look at myself, I look at my bride, and she still looks young and beautiful. But neither of us feel quite as young and beautiful as we once did. And I think with the COVID-19 pandemic and being closed in and seeing so many selfish people around us ignoring guidelines and acting in ways that communicate to me that they really don't care if they spread that deadly virus to people like us who are in the high risk category. And I think about the fact that both my wife and I have developed some heart issues. Many people have issues that are far worse than ours, but still it's there. Never thought I'd have a cardiologist. And whether it's exposure to COVID or something else, the last few months, both of us have periodically just kind of been feeling yucky, sort of off our game, And you suddenly start to think, do I still have a purpose? Is there still meaning in my life? If a heart condition were to get worse and I were to become even less able to physically do things than I am now, would I still have meaning? Would I still have purpose in my life? What has God called me to? I don't know all the answers to that. But I do know that God is never finished with us. As long as we have breath, God has a purpose for us. Yes, I know we live in a culture that's all youth oriented and it's all about, you know, TikTok and twerking and stuff. And I know that, there's nothing um, sadder than some old guy trying to keep up with all the latest stuff. But what God has impressed upon me is that as long as I'm alive, I want to keep growing, I want to keep learning, I want to keep exploring new areas, learning new things, and I want to look for opportunities to partner with God, to join God, because God's at work, and God is in the business of making all things new. And whatever time I have left, I don't want to spend it half brain dead sitting in front of a television. I want to seize life. I've come, Jesus said, that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. There's no age limit on